Hello, everyone. My guest today is Satya Prabhakar. He's an Indian American entrepreneur, engineer, writer, and the founder of Sulekha, India's leading tech AI platform for expert services, offering SME service providers the best mobile SaaS medium to grow their business through matched prospects and market intelligence. Satya, you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, I am. Thank you for your time and for your interest.
You bet. So just to be clear, from a business model perspective, is this a marketplace business model or is there a SaaS component as well?
Well, at this point, till now, it is a marketplace business model where when we say expert services, these are service providers who offer high value services with there's a lot of user engagement in terms of which service provider that they choose for providing the service. So for these things at this point, Sulekha is a marketplace model. What we are is that we are for these SMEs so that they can get the right kind of consumers, not just from the Sulekha platform, but also from outside of Sulekha platform, from various search engines and other local services marketplaces.
And you list all kinds of things on your website, from finding ways to discover IT, to finding jobs, to finding rentals, all kinds of stuff. Take us back to when you launched the business. What was the first sector you targeted?
See, initially when we launched the business in 2007, and primarily in India, and we have a strong presence among Indians living outside of India also, which are the non-resident Indians. So initially, when we started the service, it was primarily a classifieds kind of a service. So, which where people were primarily. So as we evolved over the last about 10 years from the time, what we have done is we have focused on services as the mainstay of the platform, where consumers are looking for service providers and service providers are looking for motivated buyers, which are consumers on this side. And there is a lot of friction between the trying to match these two things because the service providers don't have the credibility of the brand like big brands, and they need an independent platform to attest to their credibility and their reputation.
And take me back.
Providing the service.
Give me the timeline here. What year did you launch the company in?
We launched the company in 2007 in India.
2007. Okay. And then if we fast forward to today, over the past 30 days, how many people successfully found a service provider through your platform?
Right. So we have close to, about 7 to 8 million people who use the service every month. 7 to 8 million people who use the service every month who are the registered users.
And what does that mean, though? Right, a registered user is less interesting than someone who actually got matched successfully with a service provider. So how many people actually got matched?
So the ones who are matched successfully to service providers per month would be around about 600,000 to about 800,000.
Okay. And when you facilitate a match between someone looking for a service provider and the service provider, how does Sulekha make money?
So what we offer to service providers, our revenue comes from the service providers. For the consumers, it is free to use. So when the service providers subscribe to the Sulekha services, based upon the city and the category in which the service providers are, we estimate what is the number of service matched and verified service requests that they get. And there is a cost that the AI algorithm of the platform estimates for that city category based upon the value of the service, based upon supply demand, and then says that in this period of time, we'll be able to serve you so many match service requests, and these match service requests are valued per service request so much. And the system automatically comes up and says, this is what you need to pay for a 3-month period or a 6-month period. So there is accountability on part of the Sulekha to the service providers in terms of what is the matched value that they would get from the platform.
And so on average, was a service provider paying you per month if you're actively bringing them matches?
Yeah, correct. And that one, actually, Nathan, varies from anywhere between $100 to about $2,500 a month.
And it just depends on the number of matches.
On the number of matches and also on the value on the service provider. For example, let me give you a small example. If you're looking at a painting contractor, the value of match service request can be $2 to $3. But if you're looking for at a large event organizer, the value of that thing can be anywhere between $15 to $20.
Yep.
So it varies based upon the value of the service. Yeah.
And have you raised capital to grow the business, or are you bootstrapped?
We have raised capital to grow the business. Yes, we have.
How much have you raised to date?
Till date, we have raised about $40 million.
40? Yeah. That's great. And so when you go out and have conversations with the markets, right, the VC markets, the equity markets about valuation of the company, are you able to tell a story to get a SaaS multiple, which are usually higher than a traditional marketplace multiple?
See, the thing is, as we are moving forward, there are two ways in which the core matchmaking platform is expanding. One is in the SaaS marketing model, whereby service SMEs come to us and say that per month I'll pay you so much. And for that, we are providing marketing services for them to reach out to consumers across other platforms. So that is not based upon the core marketplace model that we have. The second one, actually, Nathan, that we're doing is there are certain services, and this is the exciting part of the business, is that there are certain services where the consumer and the service provider need not be located in the same city or the same locality of the city, right? For example, if you are a business consultant for opening actually restaurants, and you can be located in the north of India, and I can be located in the south of India, and yet you can provide me the service, right? So what COVID has done is it made it possible and it made it feasible for people to know that they can get services done from instructors, from consultants, from lawyers, advocates, from anywhere across the country.
I understand.
So that is the second vector, in which we are expanding.
And if you take me back to your first year in business in 2007, do you remember how much revenue you did that first year?
Oh, in the first year, we would have done about $100,000, $200,000, $300,000.
How did that feel? That must have felt great back then.
Yes, it is. It is. Because see, the thing, Nathan, while India is an exciting country, it's the last large internet market that is available in the world. So everybody is coming to India. Everybody is investing in India. But when you go back to 2007, the access to internet was very expensive and very low, in the sense you were very fortunate if you had 512 kbps access, right? It's not the 30 Mbps access we have right now. And people used to pay through the nose for that. So from that onwards, being here, it's very difficult to gain acceptance for the business model. It's very difficult and expensive to get consumers. So it was a very hard slog, at least in the initial period in India. Only now, Nathan, in the last from 2007 handsets, that the whole market has exploded in India. And that is since when everything has become more exciting.
Do you remember which year you had $1 million in revenue?
We passed $1 million in revenue in maybe in 2010, maybe around that time. Yeah.
2010.
2010, 2011. So,
and then take us forward to last year.
What did you guys? Because Nathan, we are still a private company and we are not disclosing revenue yet for this one. So you have to excuse me on that regard.
That's fine. So you break $1 million in revenue though in 2010, right? Some of the challenges with scaling a model like this is making sure that both sides of the marketplace stay actively engaged. So can you spend some time
That
talking
is
about
correct.
each side? How many individual consumers are putting a request to the platform each month, and how many service providers are waiting for like a request to hit them every month?
That's right. So we have in this quarter, we would have the number of live service providers who we have served, who have paid us money and served would be in between 40,000 to 50,000 from across India, right? And the number of consumers who are coming to get them. Pre-COVID, it was about 1.1 to 1.3 million per month. Because of COVID, people are not going out doing stuff. It has come down to about 600 to 800,000. But we are expecting in the next 3 months for it to go back up to about 1.5 million per month again.
How did you handle COVID in terms of your cash position? Were you trying to raise capital, and did COVID hurt your valuation at all or no?
Well, we don't know if it has hurt our valuation. I am sure it has because see the thing, Nathan, that happened is that in the month of March of 2020, right? Just in a matter of 1 month, our actually sales have dropped 80%, 80, because the service sector SME was the worst affected sector in the whole space. Because of the lockdown, they just can't go and do any work. They can't earn a living. They can't make a living. And they were like that for 3-4 months. There were no events. There were no education. There was no home improvement. Nothing. Everything froze for a matter of 3 to 4 months. And if they can't spend money, right? And they are also saying, I can't move out of my house. Nobody wants me in their house. So I can't do that. So for a period of about 3-4 months, it was absolutely the worst period in the history of this company. Right? And it has affected us very, very badly. But then since then, as the economy improved, as the lockdowns lifted, as the vaccines got improved, our growth also has swiftly come back from there.
Now, Satya, you've talked about revenue. I'm trying to figure out why you didn't tell me, but you chose to tell LiveMint back in 2015. You gave an interview that said your revenue was right around $30 million at that point. You were one of the only profitable internet companies in India, with InfoEdge and Just Dial being the other two. Was revenue 30 million in 2015?
Our revenue, including the US, we have a US business at the time. So at the time, it was at that exchange rate at the time, we were projecting that revenue at the time. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So this quote that you gave the outlet LiveMint was a projected revenue for 2015 of $30 million.
Projected revenue.
Got it. Did you miss or hit?
Yes. We were off by 20-25%.
That's pretty good. That's still pretty good projection. All right, very good, Satya. This is great.
Yeah.
Now
we are now trying to get back to that. Yeah, please go ahead.
So obviously you're trying to drive additional growth in the business. You've raised $40 million of venture capital, which means you have to keep telling a very compelling growth story. When do you think you can pass $40 or $50 million of revenue? Can you do that this year or next year, do you think?
We are projecting that happened, Nathan, is that in the US, we had a very thriving events market, where we were the largest and the most dominant player, where people came and looking for events and looking for subscription to events and event tickets and all these things. So that market has come to a complete freeze. So we are expecting that in the year 2023 is when we'll be able to get that market back. And once we get that market back, we'll be able to hit the numbers that you're talking about.
Got it. That makes sense. Let's wrap up here, Satya, with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
My favorite business book is The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
The CEO I follow is there is an Indian conglomerate called Tata Sons, and the person who runs Tata Sons is from the same college as I am. So I tend to follow him in terms of how they're executing and all these things. It's a $100 billion good dollar conglomerate in India that sells a variety of services.
Yeah. I'm very bullish on India. We had Girish on with Fresh Books. We had Saravana with On Kovai and Document 360. There's a lot of 50, 60, $100 million revenue SaaS companies coming out of India. So something special is happening. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building the business?
My favorite online tool for building a business?
For building your business.
At this point, it is Microsoft Teams.
Microsoft Teams. Number 3, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I'm sorry, I couldn't get that properly.
How many hours of sleep do you get each night?
Oh, I get about between 5 to 6 hours.
Okay, and what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
I am happily married with 2 kids.
2 kiddos. And how old are you?
I am 56.
56. Satya, last question here. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
I wish I understood the power of compounded interest.
Guys, compound interest is powerful. We just talked to Sulekha, again, launched in 2007, did $300,000 in revenue, broke $1 million in 2010, now scaling up, trying to get back to 30, 40, $50 million in revenue post-COVID. In the past 30 days or past quarter, 50,000 service providers have paid Sulekha something in response to over 800,000 consumers asking for services through the Sulekha platform. They are a marketplace model. Satya, we're rooting for you. Thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you so much for your time.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.